Is the narc a con artist? Do they have a split personality? This is an interesting topic. Okay, so to begin with, um, some of what the narc does is semi-subconscious. Some of it is fully conscious. In terms of they're conscious of what they're doing. Um, so the word con man comes from the word confidence, right? And the con man is somebody that gains your trust, gains your confidence. Hey, how's it going, Bill? Oh, how's it going, Phil? Hey, did you see that Lakers game last night? Sure. Really, really blew me away. They get to know you, they gain your trust, they make you think something is going to happen, or that they're going to provide something for you, and then they pull the rug out from under you at the last minute. The thing about the narc that's tricky is they do this confidence game. They are con men or women or whatever they are gender-wise. But it is semi-subconscious. It's pathological. They know they're doing it on some level, but on another level, it's a little bit below the level of conscious thought. And this makes it a little trickier because they seem as though it can seem as though things and events and things come up and just spontaneously, it just so happens that I can't actually keep the promise that I made to you, right? And it can seem like it's sort of arising spontaneously, but on some level they're initiating it, but only semi-consciously. So they can appear to be more genuine than they actually are, because on some level they're not even consciously aware of the fact that what they're doing is putting all the pieces in order in a certain way to make themselves win the game. They do this sort of automatically without thinking. Like, this is what I do. Like, I tie my shoes, I get dressed, probably not in that order, but I do this, and I also arrange everything in my world so that other people always lose in the game that I create. Different from saying I always win, because you can win every time and have other people around you also win, but the narc wins at the expense of other people, and they rig the game. They're con men. But it's only semi-subconscious. It's only semi-conscious, so it can seem as though they're sort of just being a person and just living their life. But actually, on some level, it's very calculated, but below the level of conscious, whereas the con man is fully conscious, totally knows what they're doing the whole time, from beginning to end. The narc is a split personality. Do they really have two different sides? Do they have the side of them that feels things, that's vulnerable, that's genuine, and then they have the side of them that is pathological, Machiavellian, trying to get as much power as possible at the expense of everyone else? Are these two distinct, different sides, or is there just one side to them, and the other one's false? The one is false, the one is true. Well, this is confusing. This is confusing because the part of them that is Machiavellian is the false part. The part of them that feels things and is intuitive and all of that, that's their real self. But it's a defense mechanism. Narcissism itself is a defense mechanism, and it starts because it's like, I don't want you to see my vulnerable side. But they'll also show their hand. They'll show you their vulnerable side to an extent, if they think, but it becomes like a tool. So their true self is the slave to their ego, and their ego is running the show. The ego is the side of them that knows that it's all a game, knows it's all a show, that they're only showing you their vulnerabilities so that they can trick you back into the confidence game, back because they're con men. Semi-conscious, semi-subconscious, and that's why it can be so confusing, because they don't seem like they're being disingenuous when they are, and sometimes they don't even really realize to what extent they're being manipulative. It's just sort of automatic on a survival level. They know that that's what they have to do to get more supply, to get new supply, or to continue the supply. So are they con men? Kind of. Are they split? Do they have a split personality? Kind of. It's a little tricky. And the split personality thing, like I said, the false self is the one that's conquering, that's trying to get new supply, that's trying to enslave everybody. The true self is there, beneath it all, but the narc has really no interest in their true self anymore, because they've convinced themselves that that part of them is weak, and that it doesn't deserve recognition. And then they treat everybody else in that same way. They also treat everyone else as if their true self is weak, is not worthy of recognition. They try to get you to be a narc. I mean, it's like a cult. They're trying to recruit you into the cult, because they're not going to come down to your level. They're not going to relate to you on your level, so they have to bring you into their narc sort of reality. So the split personality thing is tricky, because the part of them, like I said, there is two different sides, and they coexist at the same time. The best way I can describe this is, there's a movie by Ingmar Bergman called Persona, made in the 70s. And this is a brilliant movie because it describes this phenomenon in human beings perfectly, where there's this sensitive, calm person within everybody that's feeling all this pain, that's absorbing it, that feels eons of human suffering. And then there's this persona that gets created that is flippant and cruel and glib, and pretends not to care, and is on the surface. And these two things exist simultaneously, pretty much in everyone, but in the narc, they're more exaggerated. Again, a lot of the character traits of human beings that are universal are just more exaggerated in the narc. The more exaggerated self-centeredness, the more exaggerated disparity between the true self and the persona, the more exaggerated will to power, desire to conquer, more exaggerated insecurities. Their whole desire to conquer people comes from insecurities, because they have to prove to themselves that they're not weak and powerless, that they feel like they are. So be very aware that anytime the narc shows you a sensitive side, that other side to them is there, always, in the background, and is always sitting there smiling, going, okay, is he going to buy the bait? Are they going to eat the bait so that I can reel them in again? And it's tricky, because they don't always seem like they're conscious of that other side, or it can be very convincing. And it's pathological, and like I said, some of it's going on the subconscious level, and some of it they're not even really aware of. They're just doing it automatically. So the answer to, are they con men, or do they have a split personality? The answer is, kind of.